Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be learning a brand new circuit, and I thought it would be quite nice to show the process that I go through to learn a new circuit. So what I'll do a number of laps in a test day environment where it's just me on my own, and I'll get to know which turns are what in all that sort of stuff, and I'll know, so at least I'm competent with the circuit before I get on there with any other cars. Once I've reached the point of what I feel is enough competence to be with other cars, I'll then jump into a single race custom event sort of style in a practice session, and then I'll then start to try and build up pace and see what the AI cars lines are like and all that sort of stuff. But for now, let's jump into the test day. Let's go and get acclimatized to the circuit and see how I go about doing that. Okay, here we are then. We're in the garage. So the first thing you're going to want to know is, well, which direction have I got to go in and out of the garage? So keep an eye on the guy at the front of the garage there. He will give you an indication as to which direction you need to go when you're leaving the pits. There we go. Right, okay. So turn right. So all I know about this circuit is what I've seen from the television, watching Moto Grand Prix from years ago. I haven't seen Moto Grand Prix for quite a long time now, but so I know roughly which directions it goes, but not really. Obviously this corner is very famous. More of a corner than it looks actually on television. The chicane is, I know for this one. And from memory, I think it forks off to the right after. Yeah, so the full circuit goes down there, doesn't it? Yeah, and then we then shoot off to the right. So I will use the dark line. You see there, the darker rubbered line? That will be my main reference point for which way to go. And also, you see where it gets a bit darker? That's a good idea of when you need to start getting the brakes on. Okay. And then you've got your marker boards there, 200, 100, the darker patch is building. You're then into, okay, a chicane. Be second or third gear through there, I reckon. So it's quite a short little lap, isn't it? This is the last corner, isn't it? This is that double right that I remember seeing Marquez standing it up to get out of. Okay. Right, okay, so that's quite a short lap, really. Tell you what, this is much more of a corner than it looks like. When you watch it on telly, that doesn't look like much of a corner at all. That's going to be very awkward, that corner, because it's downhill. And even at that speed there, we weren't going very fast, and the tyres were starting to make noises. I think third through there. Probably through there as well. A bit of a banking on that corner, isn't there? So you can kind of use it a little bit. Probably third through there. Definitely second through here. Maybe a short shift to third. Maybe. Second or third through there. I think if I was third to that last left-hander, the tight left, I think it's I might struggle to get the front end into the corner if I use third there. Okay. It's quite a nice simple layout, really. I think the car prefers that over the rubbered in line through there. Yeah, I don't think third is right through there, so I think we'll stick to second. Seems to be helping the front end hook up. Okay, right. Yeah, track limits are going to be an issue here, aren't they? If you want to get a decent lap out of it. Yeah, I think this car's going to prefer to be a tighter entry to that corner. Let's try third through here. maybe third is the way forward. What a neat little circuit. This is really nice. Yep, third gear. Yeah, I like this little circuit. But yeah, so basically these laps are, the lap times don't matter here. We're just building up a confidence level and a competence level. So I'm more than happy with which way the track goes and where I have to be. Now the real work starts of, well, okay, so what does the car and track combination need in order to get the most out of it? Didn't like that exit curve much, did it? Yeah, so what do I need to do now to tease more speed and lap time out of this car and track combination? But I'd quite happily be on this circuit with other cars now. Just come into the pits. And you're straight into the pit limit line. Okay, right. Well, that all seems very sensible, very straightforward. It's so now I know which way the track goes, and I mean it's a pretty simple track layout, isn't it? There's not much to it, so let's now go into the second stage, which is a proper practice session with other cars at my calibrated AI strength. So now let's get into that. So now we're back in the main menu. I'm going to come to a single race. It's already been set up. So practice session is on. It's going to be a 2-hour session. We won't need 2 hours, but we'll put a 2-hour session in, starting at 10 o'clock, real time, real weather, default progressing circuit. The race settings is going to be on the same day as the test day that we've just done. So it's the 11th of May 2024. The other bits don't matter because we're not actually going to do a race. We just want the test session. We just want the practice session, and that's it. The opponents is going to be a maxed out JCW mini grid on 114 skill level. 114 is because that's my calibrated level. So if I go to Interlagos Grand Prix or Barcelona no chicane layout, and I run a qualifying session there, if I do my best effort and I'm in the top 3, then I require an AI skill level of 114 to be able to get into the top 3. So that's my calibration there. So I'll keep that at 114, and the rest of it doesn't matter because it's not wet and we're not starting the race. So, but it's important that the calibration is there because then that way you know roughly where you stand in the competitive order. So it's kind of nice to have that. Track limits definitely on, so you get to learn where the track limits are because this is where you're really going to start to push the boundaries of. So what will happen is you'll probably go through a phase where you're all very, very good following the rules. Then you'll start to try and bend the rules. Then you'll constantly be pushing the boundaries to the point of being a little bit arrogant. And then you'll get a slap in the face too many times, and you'll start to realise actually I'm pushing the boundaries a bit too much here. Then you'll rein it back in again, and then you'll start to then get your consistency, and that's when you really start to find your gains. Now the key to making this an efficient process is to make sure that you don't that like arrogant stage is as short as possible. So if you enter this process with humility, you'll find it goes a lot smoother. Right, so let's get cracking and let's see where we stand in the practice session. Also worth, but not always worthy of note, is the world record time here. So 48.4 is the world record for this car on this track. Now that's not necessarily representative. It might be, but it also might not be. So it's not the best gauge, which is why I like to go in there with the AI on their calibrated level, because then that way you get to it's more of a constant, you know. So the AI is much more reliable in its pace compared to other people in the world who may or may not be the best in the world, you know. So, right, let's put the other scene on. Right. Yeah, and then we'll just go for a drive. We've got a full tank of fuel. Always bear in mind as well that in practice sessions, the AI will be basically doing qualifying simulations. So they will be a little bit faster. I'm not really that worried about following anybody just yet anyway. We'll just get everything nicely warmed up. Not going to do anything silly. We're not here trying to set the world alight, we're just trying to learn here. Tyres aren't quite ready yet. The fronts are getting there, the rears are not quite there yet. Now, quite often on circuits that have lots of curb use and relatively lax track limits, you'll find that the AI can be a bit weak because they don't tend to use and abuse those track limits like the player can. So then their lap times can suffer, like Cadwell Park for example. Through the S's there, they don't really cut the corners like you can, and as a result they're not very fast through there compared to what you can do. Now if you do the same lines as what they do, then you'll do well to beat them. And this is a circuit where clearly you can use a lot of curb, and they'll probably stick to the white lines and not really use all the track that's available to them. So this could be a circuit where they're a little bit on the weak side. But we'll see. Later into there, be a bit hard on the brakes. The car does seem to like the tighter line through there. Missed my gear. Ooh, very close to the edge there. And not as fast either, so I pushed the front end too much into the apex there. This is a real lovely circuit. Oh, missed me turning that. This is great. I feel totally comfortable straight away. 46.7. So we're already second, and that's their qualifying pace as well. And this is a full tank of fuel, so this is my race pace. This is very encouraging. No, could have got on throttle earlier there. Trailer brakes in a bit further. A bit better that time. A little bit better. That's better. .46.3. Nice. Okay, so the world record is clearly not representative, because that was a 48.5. So, right, so that was the track limits. We really need to try and find, so driving pretty spiritedly, that was sort of bypassed that arrogant stage. Wasn't, I almost felt like I was taking a few liberties at times, but yeah, it wasn't producing track limit warnings, so that's quite nice. I ran very wide here, didn't I? Didn't get any there. No track limit there. Fully off the green there. Yeah, okay, so your track limit here looks like a very sensible. You got to keep your outside wheel the right side of the white circuit line. If I come side, I dare say that'll do the same as well. Yeah, okay. Although here you can come over here, and then so you can. It's not necessarily true everywhere. Right. I can't get over how much of a corner this is. compared to what it looks like on television. Yeah, so now I will now just spend my laps teasing the track limit warnings, seeing what I can get away with, what I can't. But it looks like to get a lap time out of the circuit, you're sort of doing sensible things anyway. So you're not going to want to come over here, because that's not going to work anyway, because the car's not going to like to brake on the curbing, so you want to stay on the circuit there anyway. How wide can you run there? That's a question mark. Here is clearly just keep the outside wheels within the white line. Yeah, that must have been... So let's have a little look at that then. Let's look. So let's run that forward. Right, let's play. Let's come around. See how close we were to the white line. So there, so you can just, I mean, literally the outside wheel is going to be, it's just inside, which is fine. And then here, there we go, bosh, track limits, done. So yeah, that's a slam dunk, isn't it? I mean, yeah, so completely fair, fine, fair enough. You're taking the mickey there, buddy. So yeah, so long as you try and keep the, I would say, the inside sidewall, this side of the white line, the right side of the white line, then you'll be okay. Yeah. So yeah, and that's what I'll do now. I'll just keep doing the laps and try and reduce the number of errors I get. Keep my consistency high. I don't think that 46.3 is achievable on a consistent basis, but I think sort of roughly probably where LS is, like the mid to late 46s. I think, sorry, late 46s, maybe early 47s. I think would be a fairly good. If I aim for that as a consistent race pace, then I think that will put me there or thereabouts. So next up, I need to now try and latch on to another driver. So let's head back out onto the circuit. Let's see if we can find another driver. Because a big part of racing, funnily enough, is the racing part. So you need to see where the AI stack up against where you are. So let's get this car warmed up. And then we'll just spend a few laps just following another driver who's normally up or near the front of the field. We've got Collins behind us, that's perfect. By the time he catches us, we should be nice and warmed up. Right, I think that's good enough now. Let's just see where they're good and where their weak spots are. Okay, so their line for them works better than my line does through there. They're very quick, aren't they? I just need to look at my brake bias, just move it forwards a little bit, that'll be about it I think. Very little change is required in the car though. It's going to give a brilliant race, this circuit. And as you can see, the AI speed is calibrated nicely. I'm pushing it there. Right, let's try this again. That's a bit less of a... yeah, that's a bit closer this time, isn't it? Just lost the rear a little bit there. Overtaking is going to be really hard. This is going to be brilliant. That closes off very quickly, doesn't it? want to be that side, really. Okay, so you can get it done into there then. If you slow down a little bit, yeah, doesn't it? Oh, I've gone too quick in. Donut. Yeah, he's slowing down now. Okay. So yeah, there's a... Not sure where he's going, but... So there's a... It's going to be a very difficult race. It's a very difficult place to overtake. Yeah, he's had enough now, hasn't he? Who else have we got? We've got West behind us. See on the laps. But yeah, so I would now spend time going through, getting consistent, latching onto the back of another AI car, and just try and piece together what it is that makes this track work as a racetrack. You're trying out different, so you're trying to find out where you're faster, where they're faster, where your weak links are and where theirs are. And then once you piece it together, then you're ready to go racing. But until you've done that, there's very little point in going racing. Okay, so that can work. So you slowed down now as well. Is it because I ruined your lap? That's because I ruined his lap. But anyway, I think we'll leave it there. I mean, you get the point, I think, so there's no point me going on and on about it. Yeah, happy days. That's it's been nice. It's been a good. I'm glad I've come here. I'm glad I'm gonna definitely race here very soon. It's a very nice circuit to drive. Yeah, we'll do the pit entry one more time. It's always worth doing the pit entry because it's one of those things that people don't seem to practice. Yeah, it's one of those things that will ruin your whole race. You can spend all week practicing for a race, screw up the pit entry, and that's your whole week's work wasted. So, because you get a 20-second penalty or whatever it is. Yeah, cool. Right, well, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for supporting. And until the next time, we'll see you later.